gentlemen, on this 5th day of July, in the year 2050, I, Lady Gillespie, am proud to present to you Toothless Hawkins and his robot jazz band. A 1, 2, 3, 4.
Hi, everybody, and welcome back to our very first edition of LakeShow Live here on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Hopefully, you guys have a great day. And today, we are recapping week 1 of free agency. And as you guys can see, I am wearing my Lakers LeBron jersey today. I cannot wait to showcase the rest of my mini collection on next week when we get started with the My Life as a Laker Fan series. Hopefully you guys will be into that. On today's episode, we're going to be recapping what was a wild week 1 of free agency, including some articles about the free agency class, DeMarcus Cousins' possible return, top 10 free agents of this week, of this year, and what could be a very interesting project for Patreon. But before we get into all that, I would like to give you a tour of the actual show when we actually get into the good stuff, when we break down Laker games and all that good stuff. So let's take you around the show, if you will. So here is going to be our breakdown scene. So that is where we're going to break down the Laker games and all that good stuff once we get into the 2021 season. So I'll tell you guys the home record, the road record, overall, all that good stuff. Then any show announcements will be below that. And if you guys follow the show, subscribe to the show, your name will be posted on the bottom right corner of your screen. We're going to be talking about the free agency class within in just a moment. But that is the free agency scene here. And then we got the recap scene here. And I would like to showcase the support area. That is where you guys will have your name here if you guys check it out on Twitch. So let's get it started here with our good stuff. So this week, let's go to this one here. This week on the show, we got to discuss the free agency class last Friday when we started the whole project. Our free agents are, for the Lakers, KCP, Dwight Howard, Dion Waiters, Markieff Morris, Anthony Davis, Kostas Antetokounmpo, Avery Bradley, Rajon Rondo, J.R. Smith, and JaVale McGee. Everybody's favorite player for some reason. So, those are the free agents from last Friday when we started this project. Now, when we started this project as well, we did a live edition of prediction show, and I did my own prediction show as well. So let's have a look at that right now. So that is where this scene comes in. If you guys remember this scene, that is where we started moving players around where we guys think where they're going to end up, like free agency, or they're going to stay with the Lakers. If you guys remember this scene, we traded around players and all that good stuff. So in my original prediction video, I had J.R. Smith, I have JaVale McGee, and I believe I have Markieff Morris as a questionable area. Now we have this scene where we have as a community during that live show, we said KCP, Anthony Davis, Kostas Antetokounmpo, Avery Bradley, and JaVale McGee were going to be Lakers next season. Then we said who would be on the trade market or would be on the free agency market starting now, like Sunday. And we said as a community, we said Dwight Howard, Rajon Rondo, Dion Waiters, Markieff Morris, and J.R. Smith. Now, some of these names were shifted around during our community edition of the show, where we talked about what could happen with these players. And one of our community members said that Dwight Howard might not be here this year. And I have to respect the opinion because Dwight Howard has been useful, especially with our rebounding. But remember, during the bubble games, we saw Anthony Davis rebound a lot. So there's going to be competition with the rebounding area. Then we have players like Rajon Rondo. Thank you, Haley. Harley, thank you so much for showing up. Um, so we said Rajon Rondo was going to be a trade or a market player. We're going to, for now, stay with that opinion here. I think he's still going to be a Laker, but can he perform more in the regular season? His nickname is, of course, Playoff Rondo. So make sure you guys remember that his name is Playoff Rondo for a reason, because he's known to perform in the playoffs. All right. So we have to see what Rajon Rondo can bring during the regular season next season if we decide to, sign him up again. Okay? So right now we're going to stay with those opinions unless you guys have something to say about the market or the locks. We can still move around players, but once the free agency stuff starts happening next week, we're going to lock in our stuff here to see what we got for next season. And that was on Friday of the last week. Then we got into the good stuff of free agency, including the talk about DeMarcus Cousins. And the article we are referring to here was from Screen and Roll, Silver Screen and Roll. Silver Screen and Roll has been my favorite source so far for these first few days of this project. And they've been writing some good stuff, including this article on DeMarcus Cousins. In this article, they talked about how this is DeMarcus Cousins' third major injury when it comes to basketball related activity. They also mentioned about the Washington Wizards offer, more particularly John Wall, that he tried to offer Boogie Cousins a contract to Washington. He said no because he wanted to rehab. And the Lakers were very, very nice to him that they let him rehab at their facilities when the Lakers started doing the bubble and during the regular season. So I'm going so now so that's what they said. Now, during this time when I started breaking down the article for you guys, I gave you guys a chance to make your feedback and talked about like a poll on the YouTube video. When I started sharing it, it looks like most of you guys wanted DeMarcus Cousins into the Lakers again. And I think he deserves it because he does deserve a chance to shine for the Lakers. Remember, he did not play because of the ACL tear that he suffered in August of last year. And it takes a year to recover from that stuff. It's not an easy fix. So 1 year injury. So it takes time for players to recover from stuff like that. Okay? Now, so 95% said he would return for next year. 5% says not returning because of his injuries. My original take during the video when I started doing it was from a maybe to a no, but I'm going to change my mind. I'm going to go with the majority here. I think he's going to get another shot. I seriously think he's going to get another shot with the Lakers next year just because he didn't get to play during the season because of his injury. So I'm going to say I'm going to be on the I'm going to be on the positive side of this, and I'm going to say yes. He's going to play with the Lakers next season, assuming that he doesn't get injured during the offseason again, which is going to be devastating. All right. Now let's talk about our next article here. And on Thursday, I broke down the article that Sporting News put up about the top 10 free agents this season. This season, we have top 10 NBA free agent for the year. Now, keep in mind that on this time during the article, we have to remember that some players may have signed somewhere else when this article is already finished, but we are still in the moratorium period, meaning that no players cannot sign until after next week. Okay? So your free agents class this year includes unrestricted free agent Fred Van Vliet from the Toronto Raptors, Montrezl Harrell from the Clippers, Goran Dragic from the Miami Heat, Davis Bertans from the Washington Wizards, and Gallinari from the Oklahoma City Thunder. Those are your unrestricted free agents this season. Your restricted free agents, your RFAs, are going to be Brandon Ingram and Bogdan Bogdanovic of the Sacramento Kings. And finally, your player options for the season are Anthony Davis and Gordon Hayward. Davis, of course, from Lakers, and Hayward from the Boston Celtics. Now, this article does not go into the fact that Dragic, Gallinari, and Ingram are rumored for the Lakers this season. That is going to be interesting because a lot of people would think that Ingram is coming back to Lakers, or Dragic would be going to Lakers, or Gallinari is going to the Lakers. These three names, including Ingram. Remember, Ingram, we first got him like in 2016 when we started like rebuilding this squad for the Lakers. So I think you have to watch Ingram this particular offseason, but I would also pick something else. Because when I broke it down, I also included some picks that I would try to see where they would go. Because these picks might have some influence, if you will. So, first pick, I would say Anthony Davis as a big pickup for anybody, okay? The second pick is Fred Van Vliet. In the video, I said Fred Van Vliet had a lot of chances for rebounding and points, okay, for that video. I would watch Fred Van Vliet very carefully this offseason. I would also watch another player, Ingram. I would watch Ingram where he goes. Fred Van Vliet is another good one. I would also even watch Harrell. Montrezl Harrell from the Clippers. I would think he's going to move somewhere. Well, and there's another rumor that I did not even think about until I thought about it right now. And that was the one where the Morris twins are going to be reunited in LA. The other one plays for the Clippers. Okay, that's the Morris twins. So that could be another one. And then there's another interesting rumor that just happened, and that is the one where we have the Antetokounmpo twins, the one in Giannis, and we have Costas. That's another one that could happen, but that rumor just broke, so we're not going to jump into that right now. My sleeper pick, what I think could happen, is my sleeper pick is going to be Goran Dragic. I think whoever gets him has a shot at either a title or playoffs. Goran Dragic, I think, is the one of them you guys have to pay attention to in this offseason. I think he has a shot to move somewhere. Where we have to see. All right. Next, we have another article for you from Silver Screen and Roll. Although I did not do an individual video on it, the article I'm talking about is the one where JaVale McGee sells his house. Okay, this rumor has been going around for a little bit, and it's the one where JaVale McGee sells his house. The reason why a lot of people jump to leaving LA is because he sold his house. Here's the catch. Here's the thing, though. In that same article from Silver Screen and Roll, Anthony Davis sold his house and moved closer to the Staples Center. So that doesn't mean all of a sudden that JaVale McGee is leaving LA just because of, oh, he's selling his house. No, no, sir, I don't think so. It is a $2.49 million home though. I actually saw pictures and looks cool. Okay. Now, I did want to mention one thing about the article that I forgot to put on my notes here, and that is the fact that McGee this year, JaVale McGee, has a player option, and it's going to be worth $4.2 million. Will the Lakers pick up that, or will they let him go into free agency? Dwight Howard in that article also has a contract coming, and DeMarcus Cousins, again, we just talked about him, has another chance at the Lakers. Here's what I'm thinking though, when it comes to this article about JaVale McGee selling house. I don't think he's moving. I really think he's going to stay. Because even though he did not play in a bubble, he did some great stuff on defense during the season. So I'm going to bet right now he's going to stay with Laker to make sure that we get another chance for title. All right, now let's talk about our next piece of evidence or piece of information, and that is actually going to be something that I wanted to bring to this show. Okay, so I was thinking for you guys and the show, would you rather have it as a podcast? Okay, hear me out on this one, folks, first. Okay, let me tell you why podcasting might be interesting for our show here. Currently, we are live on Twitch, Facebook, YouTube at the same time, okay? Now, the idea is that we can reach more people because everybody has cell phones now, smartphones, I should say, and there's podcasting networks, okay? It could be an on-the-go show where you guys can get your information about the show, and I just record the stuff. For example, all you have to look toward to is another channel called Combat Sports Talk. Combat Sports Talk does a channel. I actually watch this guy. He breaks down every Laker game, Dodger game, and Ram game. Now, Unlike my stuff, where we're going to break down every week on a Saturday, he does it every game. Okay? But there's one thing he has I don't have yet, and that is a podcast, which I'm thinking of trying out for you guys. Okay? Now, here's how it's going to work. I think we're going to try it out on Anchor or SoundCloud. SoundCloud or Anchor will be our first destination. If we get into the good territory, we might go higher level. Okay? So we'll see what we got for that, okay? The drawback, however, is let's say that we start getting good stuff on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. And all of a sudden here comes followers and here comes subscribers and here comes like the follower alerts and all that good stuff. Because it's an audio form, we might get to have to mute the alert system for alerts like follow, subs, and all that good stuff. We might not even be able to use background music because of copyright. So that is my little pitch to you guys about the podcast. If you guys want the idea, let me know in the comments below as well. Okay? We're going to do our lightning round now. And the lightning round is where we're going to talk about other articles, but I do not get time to break them down in their own video. So, here's the lightning round. A few hours ago before the show started, I found an article about NBA Christmas Day start for 2021. Now, who knows how this would go, because remember, we just barely ended the season for 2019-2020. Will a Christmas Day start be too early? I think it's too early for a Christmas Day start here because they just came off a season and they still have to do training camp. Remember that. We're not done with free agency. And they're already talking about the season starting in December. In particularly December 25th, Christmas Day. You never know what the NBA is going to draw up, so you're going to have to watch that out. Then, as I talked about before, will our show format be a live show or a podcast or both? I'm still thinking about the live show, but if you guys want a podcast, I'll be very happy to give you guys one. Okay? And finally, our last part of the lightning round is Rondo or CP3. The debate of Rajon Rondo or CP3. Who would you have? In my opinion, I would get Rondo because he can ball, and we know Rondo can play. We saw him in the bubble play big points, so I would go with Rajon Rondo. Now there is an argument for CP3 though, because he can be clutch, and remember, we almost got him back in 2013. And don't forget, we're going to have a little video about Chris Paul next week about my new series called Trade Breakdown or Trade Games. I'm going to call it Trade Games. Now I would like to give you a preview of some of the content you will see on the YouTube channel next week. First up, we're going to have the Free Agency Week 2 preview show where we talk about what could happen in Week 2. Then we're going to have the first episode of My Life as a Laker Fan series, where I talk about myself as a Laker fan. And episode 1, we'll be talking about my mini Lakers collection, so you don't want to miss that one. We're also going to have some highlight videos for you, including a top 5 plays of Kobe Bryant's finals in 2010 when we beat the Boston Celtics to win the last title before this one. Hopefully, you guys will be into that. We're also going to have some breaking free agency news if possible. And of course, we're going to go live again next week when we do our show like this again. Okay? So that's going to be next Friday at 5:30 for next week. And that is going to wrap up the show for this week. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed that. Please feel free to subscribe to the channel and like, comment, and subscribe. And make sure you guys check out the YouTube channel for all the content about all things Lakers. We'll see you guys next week. Have a great weekend and go Lakers. And of course, tonight, go Dodgers as well. Let's go. Go Lakers, go Dodgers. We got this.